song says. Welcome back to the Rock Fantasy Files. Hey, I'm actually back this week. Remember me? I'm the guy that runs Rock Fantasy. But anyhow, James has been driving the ship, which is fine with me. I've been a busy summer doing a million things. Got Count Ralphus here tonight. We got a small crew tonight, but we're talking about a band. We've decided to chat on the band Mastodon. Mastodon is one of my favorite bands. I really love Mastodon. And from the beginning, when they first came out, I thought their sound was much different than everybody else's. And a little bit about Mastodon, the American heavy metal band. They hail from Atlanta, Georgia. They formed in the year 2000. The band's lineup: Troy Sanders, bass vocals; Brent Hinds, of course, lead guitar and vocals; Bill Kelleher, rhythm, guitar, backing vocals; and Brian Daller, drums and vocals. It remained unchanged for 24 years until Hines' departure of March in 2025 of this year. Mastodon has released 8 studio albums as well as a number of other releases. Of course, we just lost the former guitar player Brent Hinds to a motorcycle accident in Atlanta area several days ago, only a few months after he announced he was leaving the band. I don't know what the bad blood was there, but he was really throwing them under the bus towards the end, and it was kind of ugly. And then to see that headline, like just a few days later, that he had passed away, it was very surreal. And we just wanted to talk a little bit about the band in general. I think it was Count Ralph's idea. A few of the guys in our panel don't get into them, so hey, we'll have a little shorter show. We'll each be able to put a little bit more into it. I just asked you maybe your 5 favorite albums by them out of the 8. Talk about a couple songs from each. Of course, we wanted to talk about concerts that we've seen. Of course, recently, Mastodon actually opened. They were the opening band from the giant Black Sabbath farewell show Back to the Beginning at Birmingham's Villa Park on July 5th. And they delivered Black Tongue, Blood and Thunder, before being joined by Gojira's Mario Duplanter, Slipknot's Eloy Casagrande, and Tool's Dana Carey for a cover of Sabbath's classic track Supernaut. I don't remember those guys joining them. Didn't they just do that by themselves? I got that from a news agency. Do you remember anybody else joining them for that song?
I didn't watch Mastodon's set. I tuned in right before Pantera started.
Yeah, I don't remember all of them on there. So one of our listeners, our viewers, will have to correct us. I remember them. I thought they just did that song. I don't remember extra
Yeah,
guests like the jam session come up.
that's kind of how I remember it too. I'm not 100%. I remember I had to go back, and that was because I missed that
Yeah,
because they were so early in the day. And it was one of the things I went back to, and I remember I'm doing that song, but I don't remember if there was other people on stage with them. Maybe that's what it was. They were just like in the background,
I
kind of
thought that
doing
they
stuff.
were, yeah, because they were the first band on, and they did, like everybody else, couple or of their own songs and one Sabbath Ozzy song, and
And the drummer sang it too, right?
the
The
drummer
Brian
sang.
Daler
I
sang
mean,
it.
this is one of the
Yeah,
unique things about Mastodon, where almost like Kiss or the Beatles, everyone in the band sings. Pretty much everybody has a vocal part, and over the years, and I guess I'll go first a little bit, and then we'll go around. I got James from Discography and Crucial Pain, and Count Ralph is here, of course. So I mean, talking about, before I talk about their albums, I mean, I've seen these guys since they played small clubs. I think Ralph's going to talk about this too, where, what was that guy's name? Juan, right? Juan was the guy that booked up at the Chance for a while, Spanish guy. Remember him getting a hold of me going, dude, I got this band Mastodon coming in. And I had known who they were already, and they were playing up at not at the Chance, but they were playing up at the Loft, wasn't it?
yep.
Uh, that
And it
was,
was like it was only like 50 people there, besides like the bands, the opening bands, because it was a bunch of locals that
was
opened
that
for them that
the
day.
Remission
But
tour?
they didn't have any. No, it was Leviathan, but it
Oh,
wasn't even a tour. It wasn't a tour. I was luckily I bring it up to Cavaluzzi because I remember he went up that night, And I was like, yo, what year do you think that was? And we started talking about it and we figured it all out. But it was like, he said that he remembered talking to them. He said they were on their way to Massachusetts. I think they were playing the Metal Hardcore Fest thing that they have
Okay,
up
yep,
there.
yep.
And this was just like a one off. Because if you look at like their albums when they came out, there's a couple years in between stuff, you know. So it was kind of like an in between time. They weren't really on tour, but they were passing through on that cycle, I guess, you know. But it was
Mhm.
Leviathan. They only played Leviathan and Remission like songs, you know.
Sure, because those were the two albums they had at the time. So, like I said, I've been seeing them at clubs. They were on the Oz Fest. I remember going to a brutally hot Oz Fest with my employee Heather and her brother. We all drove down to the one I remember was in Camden, New Jersey. It had to be like 110 degrees out. And if you go to Camden to the amphitheater, there's actually an air conditioned part, like an inside part where you can go get drinks and food and whatnot. I remember us going back and forth. Like Heather went out to see more of like the core bands, and I was going out to see more of the metal bands. I remember like I'm heading out to see Mastodon, and here she's going back to the air conditioning. But got to see them on that. So many tours, like Ralph was talking about, they were on the Unholy Alliance. I remember seeing them at the Roseland too, and I thought they were with Slayer there too, but I'm not 100% sure. My memory, I didn't do enough homework. Hopefully, Ralph has more homework than I do on the event. But when I going more to the forward now, the first tour I saw, the first concert I saw coming back from COVID, I laid low for a good 2 or 3 years here after 2020, and because of my wife's situation, and I didn't want to fuck around with it either. I was not working. I was home. I was hiking with the dog, and finally, I got the lucky number of getting COVID that year. And in the summer, it was after working my fair stint, which I always seem to get sick after the Orange County Fair, as I did this year again. And then we had a Papa Roach and Falling in Reverse tour at the fairgrounds, and I attended that. And almost everybody that went to that show, like, did you get sick after that show? And they're like, yeah, we did. Like, I knew at least 10, 15, 20 people that got COVID from that show. So anyhow, that was August of 2023, I believe. And I got better from it. Then I realized, holy shit, I can go out and do shit now. So I'm going to go fucking see concerts. I couldn't go for like 3 fucking years. I'm going to go. And the first show I bought a ticket to was Ghost, Mastodon, and Spirit Box. It was at the USB or UBS Arena where the Islanders skate now in Queens. And I went to that show. And that was the first time I went indoors to a concert. I didn't know what the fuck to do. I was like so used to just being in this room talking about metal on the channel with everybody, not being at many shows other than some outside stuff at the fairgrounds or whatnot. But it was a great show. Mastodon actually killed it. Freaking Ghosts were great that night, and Spirit Box. So I liked them
The
a lot.
Ghost headline, Ghost
Ghost in the
headline that.
Headline, yeah, on that tour. And then
Because earlier on, when Ghost came out earlier on, they did one of their first big tours was opening up for Mastodon.
yeah, okay.
So that's cool that they returned the favor later on. I didn't see that, but
I
I
may
just
have
know that
seen
they.
that one too. I don't know what year that was. Uh, I also went to see, and I'm wearing the T-shirt now, the Gojira Mastodon, which they call the Mega Monsters Tour. So this was 2023. So 2022 was the year that I went to see. It took me 2 years to catch the coof. No, so that was the year that I went to see the Ghost and Mastodon Spirit Box. That was my first show back in, and I went to see this tour mainly because I really like Mastodon, and it was at the Coney Island Amphitheater, which is a fucking great place to go see a show. I don't even know if they had shows there this summer. I didn't see any advertisements at all for anything metal, but I've been there a couple times. I saw the Deftones and Refused there once. And I had a friend that lived down there. And I tell you what, it was just a good time. It was like going to the amusement park, going on some of the rides, going to the freak show bar, getting the pregame going, and then going over to the amphitheater. This show was absolutely mobbed there. I tell you, with Gojira, Gojira's blown up, of course. I didn't really like Gojira until I saw this tour with them, though. That summer, I kind of dove into them. Let me listen to them again because I remember listening to them once in the 2000s and going, I didn't like them. Now I fucking love them, and of course I love them even more because they're Gojira, the Godzilla. So anyhow, went to that show. The line for merch was insane. Like literally to get a Mastodon shirt, because I really wanted this shirt. I liked how the monsters were on it. The monster and I said, I think I waited in line close to a fucking hour to get a shirt. That's how crazy merch was at that show. But I've seen Mastodon so many times, and I'm glad we're doing an episode about it. So I guess if I'm going to go through my favorite albums from them, it's hard to say because I like every one of their albums. I know there's some people that are more purists that only like the early stuff. I like it across the board. I guess my number 5 is gonna be Remission. I love that record. I think it's hard to pick a bad song on that record. I was listening to it today on my walk. And if I'm gonna pick a couple of songs from it, it'd be the March of the Fire Ants, Mother Puncher, Old Nessie. And the next one in line is going to be the album they put out during the pandemic, Hushed and Grim. I listened to that fucking album a ton, man. In this room, I remember doing Rock Fantasy Files and having that album out here and when I was doing medicinal herbs like you guys, I don't do them anymore, and having some drinks. I was listening to that album a lot. I love the song Pain with an Anchor,
Yes.
Sickle and
Oh,
Peace, fucking Tear Drinker.
yes.
I mean, I only made 3 songs on it. I could have talked longer. Like I said, I've had a busy week of tearing this house apart and whatever the fuck else. I'm getting teeth pulled. I've had a fucking shitty time, but here I am. I'm back. I wanted to do Rock Fantasy Files tonight. About 7:30, I was falling asleep in my chair, and I'm like, what am I doing? I should probably stayed and took another night off, but here I am. So number 3, which could even be higher, is an album called Once More Around the Sun. And I tell you what, this album came out, and I don't have the date right in front of me. I could Google it. What year is that, James?
We are looking at
2014. 2014.
Okay, so this Friday, I was let known that it's my anniversary of getting hit by a car. I was hit by a car about 5 houses down on this busy street that I live on, Wayweon Avenue. Walking my dog, Bandit, at the time. She had gotten off the leash. Of course, my dog is like my kid, and I'm going to save my dog. Got off the leash. I was just over the yellow line. This person must not have saw me. They hit me, clipped me, broke my wrist, broke my shin bone, shattered my kneecap.
Oof.
And I went into the hospital. I had surgery the next day. Everything worked out. My wife saved my life. She brought me home instead of sending me to a nursing home, which I don't think I would have handled it. But there's a song on that album that I played repeatedly when I was in the hospital. The Mother Load. Everything's going to work out. It's just that song where it's just a positive. We're not going to let you slip away. I listened to that album on repeat on my fucking headphones one day because they were trying to keep me another day. Your blood pressure's up a little bit. We want to do this. And I'm like, oh, we got to wait and wait around. I think I just had that on spin, and that song means so much to me. Of course, The High Road from that is another great song too. I think it's a great album. The album cover really fucking cool too. James was just showing it.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I'm out of sync tonight a little bit. And so I guess I'll go. Yeah, flip. What's some more songs that are on that album?
I mean, favorite ones off this for mine are like the title track I like a lot. Asleep in the Deep is really
Oh
good.
yeah,
Aunt Lisa is a really great
yeah,
song. And like the closer, Diamond in the Witch House is fucking great.
that is a good one. Yeah, yeah. So I was at number 3. Number 2, I'm gonna go with Leviathan, which could be number 1, but I don't. Maybe it should be number 1. Of course, Blood and Thunder. Let me pull it up so I can look at. I don't have it in front of me. My albums are all up at work. I'm gonna pull that up on so I can look over the titles. Freaking Blood and Thunder, Iron Tusks, Megalodon, another Aqua Dementia. It's another album that just 46 minutes long, and it's epic. I mean, last year I wanted to see this tour because they were doing it was them and Lamb of God, and they were doing Leviathan in its entirety, but it wasn't anywhere near Middletown. It was like in Reading, Pennsylvania, maybe up in Connecticut somewhere. So it was nowhere near. So I didn't get to see it. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice a little bit. My number 1 album from them is going to be The Emperor of Sand. I love that record. Sultan's Curse. I love Show Yourself.
Yes.
Ancient Kingdom. And there's a song that's kind of weird, but I love Steam Breather.
Yes.
See your face. And I'm glad that we're doing something that's not just like classic metal on this channel too. I think it's great that we're talking about Mastodon. That it's a shame what happened with Brent. I've seen them not live yet, but I've seen video of the guy that replaced them, and they still seem very powerful on stage. But it's just tragic that we lost Brent. But that's my top 5, and I'm looking forward to listening to what you guys had to say and what concerts you attended. I'm sure I forgot some of the concerts that I've been to, and I'll remember them when Ralph mentions them or somebody else. So.
One quick question is that the Ozfest that you seen him on. Do you remember what was like the main draw that night or main
Uh,
bands from that? Because they all get blurred together to me,
you know what I'm
except
gonna
for the
do?
headliners.
I'm gonna Google that right now and see when they were on it. I think I don't know, were they on once or twice? Mastodon. If I know how to spell tonight. Yeah, I think I do. Mastodon at Ozfest. It was 2005. It was they were on the 2005 tour. So that would have been the one with Maiden, right?
Oh,
That
okay.
sounds right.
Yeah, 2005. Yeah, because then like the
Yeah, the
2004
second,
was the Judas Priest
the
one.
2005 was Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, Mudvayne, Shadows Fall, Black Label Society, and Flames. Second stage was Rob Zombie, Killswitch Engage, As I Lay Dying, Mastodon, A Dozen Furies, The Haunted, Arch Enemy, The Black Dahlia
Right.
Murder, Bury Your
Yep.
Dead, It Dies Today, Soilwork, Gizmachi, Wicked Wisdom, and Trivium.
Damn.
Gizmach.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
remember
lot.
seeing Wicked Wisdom like early in the day with Will Smith on the stage,
Remember that?
like he was doing this the whole time.
Dude, we were at PNC, and Will Smith was actually taking pictures with us because his wife's band was what, Wicked Wisdom, I guess.
Yeah, Wicked
Yeah,
Wisdom.
Yeah. So
That's
that
fun.
I now I remember the bands that I was walking out into the heat wave. Other than I did see it at PNC and at Camden also.
Yeah,
I
that
was that.
PNC show. I remember they had the showers outside, and it was like in between every band. I just ran to those like showers where it just like
Like
was
the
missing.
misters and
You'd
shit.
be
Yeah.
totally drenched, and like 5 minutes later, you were completely dry again because it was so hot that day. That was like one of the hottest fest ever.
So this when I saw them, it was 20 years ago this summer. Yeah. But I've seen them a bunch more times, and I hope to see them again soon. So who wants to go next? Count? James?
But Count
I'll
Ralphus
go.
go.
All right. He's got his freaking Megalodon shirt. I used to
Yeah,
have that shirt. I maybe I still do in a pile somewhere.
this is from that Loft show,
I think it's
and
time for me to sell some of my vintage concert shirts. Maybe I can auction them
yeah,
off channel.
yeah, I put them on eBay. Yeah, get them on
Something.
auction. But so yeah, I mean, just since we were talking about that show, and I got it lined up, uh, when he died, I found the old pictures from that Loft show, and it's just amazing how close we were, and how there was like nobody there. And I remember like those local bands were there, so it seemed like there was people there. But after every local band played, they just left because they didn't know who Mastodon was. They
Yeah,
just
yeah.
got on the bill.
Same shit that goes
It was
on
like,
nowadays.
yeah. So these pictures, I'm like, 2 feet from them. There's Brent with the guitar behind his head. I don't know if you can see that too good, but
Oh yeah.
and then these guys,
Yeah.
damn, looks like it needs more light, but uh, here's two different pictures, but we're just like it was so great to have them like a few feet in front of you, and they were really cool, like hanging out there, me with Brian
Who
Daler.
who did
I remember
who did you go up there with, Count? Do you remember? Was
I
he
went up there with my wife, and John Cavaluzzi was there with
okay?
another good friend of mine. But I would think Steve Levin would have been there because I remember Steve Levin was a big
Maybe,
fan of
yeah.
them early on. So with me, like finding them, like I remember, I think it might have been Steve Levin was like, he was like getting really into all the relapse bands and all that stuff, and I was digging a lot of that stuff too because by this point, like late '90s and early 2000s, death metal had been around for a real long time now, and
Mhm.
it was oversaturated. There was so many bands. And a lot of the great bands were already disappearing at that point because like they just gave up after so many albums or whatever. Not really much money to be made in that world. But it was like an oversaturated scene. So for a while, I was getting into like the real heavy industrial stuff, just stuff that was heavy still, but a little different because you just get tired of hearing the same shit all the time.
Yeah.
And I was still keeping up with all my favorite death metal bands, but it was just like too
Mm.
many new ones were coming out. But then this wave of like new stuff comes out where bands like Mastodon are getting signed to Relapse. And a lot of the Relapse bands, they were all different today's today and all the like weird like bands that were coming out of there. But Mastodon, when I first heard it, it was like, yeah, it took a minute to like kind of know what the hell was going on. It seemed chaotic. It actually seemed noisy to me, which is really weird when I listen to it now because basically what happens is once it clicks with you, it just all makes sense. And I know a lot of people who never gave it enough chance to let it really click. And it seems like a lot of the guys that usually do our show, they just like never got into it. But
Mm.
I think like I took a chance and I bought Remission. I got an original vinyl, opens up
Yeah.
the gatefold, and like you play it more when you get something that you pay for. So it's like you want to like it. So after a couple spins, all of a sudden it just clicked, and I just became a huge fan of them. I actually seen them like way before that Loft show. They played one of the March Metal Meltdowns, and I believe it was like right when Remission came out, so it would have been like 2002. I
Mm.
mean, Life's Blood EP came
Was
out in
that in Asbury
2001.
Park?
Yeah, I went to like three of them at Asbury Park, and I know the first one was like in '99. But
Was the one that Mastodon played at the convention hall?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
the only ones I went to were those convention halls. But they were the first band. Like, I don't know if they were the first band of the day, but I remember like when we got there, they were the first band we seen that day, and
Mm.
they were a brand new band, but we knew who they were.
Yeah.
And it could have even been when the Lifeblood EP was the only thing they had out because they had
Wow.
that out before. But I gotta find the flyer for it and see the exact year. But it probably was when Remission had just came out, and Remission's my number one album. Trampled on the Hoof. Where Strides the Behemoth, March of the Fire Ants, Burning Man, Mother Puncher. But I didn't write down songs for like most of these albums, but I've got to start off with my number one. But because these actually my list pretty much goes in order. And my number two is Leviathan. I love this album. It's a perfect album.
Mm.
I think it's the production's getting better on this one, and it's like neck and neck between this and Remission for me. They're so close, but the sound is getting a little better on this one, and I love all their concepts and what they're talking about and singing about. It's so cool.
Yeah.
They have such a cool like vibe to their whole like way of coming up with song titles and what they're singing about and shit. And so yeah, that's like a perfect album. And then Blood Mountain, my next one, and this is when they played the when they played the Meadowlands, where
Yep.
at the Meadowlands they cut half the stadium in half for that
I
show,
remember that.
which was cool that I don't remember any other shows where they did it that way. And they blocked off the very top level too.
Yeah, they
But
called
it
it
was
the theater at Continental Airlines Arena or something. Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, it was just a cool. We got floor tickets that day, and I remember it was Children of Bodom. I can't remember if Trivium played. I think Trivium was on the bill too. And but then it was
Unholy
Mastodon.
Alliance.
Yeah, I know there was like two versions of it. I think one was just like a couple shows, or maybe even just one show. But then they did another one where it was a tour, and Lamb of God was on before Slayer. But Mastodon was kind of in
I
the
got it.
middle.
I got it right here for you. It's Unholy Alliance, Slayer, headline, Lamb of God, Children of Bodom, Mastodon, and Thine Eyes Bleed.
That's it. That's Tom Araya's brother's band.
Oh, okay. You know, boy, whatever happened to them?
That was it. They did that tour, and that was it.
Yeah,
I,
can't
I
really see
bought
it.
this album right. Yeah, that was a great show. And I remember at that show, which a real weird thing happened was I went up to get a beer online, and right behind me is the drummer from Mastodon. And
Oh,
I'm like, he was online to get a beer. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, yeah, just getting a beer. I was like, why wouldn't you don't you have a ton of beer backstage? He goes, no, believe it or not. He goes, this place didn't fucking give us nothing. He said we didn't have no
Wow.
beer. I don't know if he had like a beer ticket or maybe to get beer at the
yeah.
stand.
Who
But
knows?
when I was buying my beer, I just turned around and gave him a beer. I was like, hey, he's like, well, you don't
It's
have to do
funny.
that. I was like, ah,
You were mentioning his name because when Johnny Mott, our good friend John from Middletown, most of the viewers aren't going to know him, but Ralph and I know him very well. He went to the Back to the Beginning tour, festival, not tour, in UK, and the first people he met was the drummer of
huh.
Rose
Oh,
Brand
that's cool.
and Randy Blythe because they went to the Black Sabbath bridge or there
Oh
with the
yeah, I seen the picture. Yeah, I
and he
remember he
got
put
and
up a
I'm like,
picture.
wait a minute. It's like you guys met they were all just there taking pictures at the bench and the bridge and yeah, so he got a photo with him that day. I
It's
just
pretty
think
cool
that
when you think about
Mastodon.
playing in a little room like the Loft, and even Lamb of God. They played the Club Crenal, and they played the Chance. But then
Was
both of
that
them
when
bands
they
playing in front
were
of 40,000.
is that
They
when they
opened up
were
for Gore.
is that when they
They
were
opened
burned the priest?
No, they played with Gore. They opened up for Gore at the Chance, and I didn't go
Okay.
in to see him. I didn't go in to see him because I thought the name Lamb of God was stupid. I thought it was like a religious, like a
Um,
Christian band or something. I just was like, I didn't know who they were. But then I remember I have like those old cards that had Club Canal shows and Loft shows. And one time I was looking at it, I was like, wow, fucking Lamb of God played Club Canal with like a bunch of fucking weird bands, but they just like booking so many shows back and they were just really not known at the time. They
I
didn't blow
remember.
up yet.
We need to do an episode on Lamb of God sometime.
It seems like Mastodon really blew up after that Slayer
Mm.
tour because I don't remember them being on like a big tour before that tour, that Unholy Alliance tour.
It's a great question of when they actually blew up to headline status. I mean, they've done some headlining tours. They're usually in the second slot, I'd
Yeah,
say
or co-headlining a lot. They
headliners
seem
like
to do a lot of
Gojira,
co.
that one. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
What's that? Crack the Sky?
No,
That's when they
Blood
really
Mountain.
blew up.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah. They had like videos that were getting played, and I think they started getting like from then on. They were like in the top 10 every album they put out. Like would make a top
They
10
got one
Billboard.
video where they're in like a clown fun house and they have the same mold, like people that come to Rock Fantasy that they have that giant fiberglass clown head. And that same clown head is in that video. And I'm trying to think which video that was.
I
But
think that's Blood and Thunder.
I think it is, right?
Yeah, I think that's
They're in
Blood and
like
Thunder.
they're in like a amusement park fun house kind of.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I messed up in my order though. I went to Blood Mountain as my third, but really I would go with Call of the Mastodon, which should have been their first album. It's the first 9 songs that they recorded, but it didn't come out until after Blood Mountain came out, or right around. It came out the same year as Blood Mountain, so it's
Right.
2006. Both this and Blood Mountain came out, and I like how it's like the early versions of some of the old songs and some that you didn't know, but yeah, so that would be the one right before Blood Mountain. And then I go Crack the Sky. But today I was listening to The Hunter and once more Around the Sun and Emperor of Sand. And I actually listened for the first time. I hadn't really ever listened to Hushed and Grim. Like, but the thing is I never bought like the albums after Blood Mountain, but
Mm.
everything I listened to, I actually really like. I love the music is fucking awesome on everything.
Mm.
Even the newest one had like Pink Floyd parts and stuff like that. And I just the vocals is what I don't like as much. But at the same time, because they're singing and they're not screaming as much, I hear the music more and I appreciate the music more. And I'd love to have all of them in my collection. But I just, at the time when these ones were coming out, I wasn't buying them. But
Hmm.
listening to them, I'm thinking, man, the music is just amazing. And I really enjoy listening to it just from paying attention to the music. And like I said, it kind of stands out more than music because I'm not listening to the vocals at all. And at times the vocals are cool, like they're not horrible, but every now and again it gets a little bit kind of weird. And I like how they put out something different each time. They're not doing the same album over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be like my five there.
Cool. How many times have you seen them, Ralph? Then
Well, I seen them that first time, the
yeah,
March Metal Meltdown. And like I said, they were up there early in the day, like noon, and they
yeah,
were blasting away up there. They were all headbanging like crazy and really going for it. And then I seen them at the Loft, which was just unbelievable. You can never see a better version of them than
yeah.
that, having them 2 feet in front of you. Then I seen them at the Unholy Alliance, and I seen them on Ozfest.
Okay.
And I think that's it. That's probably it.
So you
I
haven't
haven't seen
seen
them
them
in a
in
long time.
20 years almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, real long time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. James, what's up, brother?
What's going on? Um, yeah, rest in peace, Brent Hinds, man. I felt like this was a really tragic one. Not that Ozzy's wasn't tragic because you don't want to see Ozzy go, and we all love him so much,
Been a
but
tough, been a tough summer, brother.
it really has.
Mm.
This one's really just fucking came out of nowhere, and I feel is very tragic. Um, Especially like, more things have been coming out about how the accident happened. I read an article the other day that basically said the woman that fucking turned in front of him really wasn't paying attention. She
Yeah.
just kind of fucking turned right in front of him and plowed right through him. So it really sucks, man. My brother-in-law died via motor. He was on his Harley and got hit,
Mm.
and it's fucked up, man. People need to really open their eyes and pay attention to fucking motorcycle drivers on the road.
I spoke with someone who it's actually on the Hudson Valley Squares, and he had mentioned that he's a former police officer. I don't know if he wants me to talk about that, so I won't mention his name, but he was saying that from stuff he had saw when he was at work, he goes, it is so dangerous to be on a motorcycle nowadays with between people being on their phone, not paying attention, that's the drivers are not as good as they used to be, that you're taking your life in your hands, being out
Yeah.
there on two wheels like that, because you just never know.
I
Like
almost
I was
seen an
talking about,
accident today.
what's that?
I almost seen an accident today.
Did you?
I was coming home and I was going towards a hill that where like there was a turn coming over a hill, but this deer was way ahead of me and it was running across the street. And I didn't really have to think about it. He was going to be across the street by the time I came. But as he's getting right across the street, this motorcycle came around the corner of the hill. And there's no way he would have seen the deer. 1 second's difference, he would have hit that deer dead center.
Oh, no.
Like he didn't even see the deer. He just like came around the corner. The deer was just jumping into the woods. Like it was
Yeah,
like a second
yeah.
difference. He would have seen it and he would have hit that deer. It's just weird. I seen that today.
Fuck. Yeah. So
The deer wasn't looking at its phone though, at least.
No.
not true.
Man, you talk. It's just that this is gonna be a whole nother episode, not about music. These
Yeah, true.
phones. Ever go
Yeah.
to New York? Have you been to New York City lately? Walking around, it's just like driving. The people are walking down the sidewalk, bumping right into you,
It's been like that for a while. It's
and
been
the
like
whole.
that for years.
I know it has, but it just
Yeah.
seems like more. The more you notice it, like you go out to dinner, you look over the table, and all the kids that are like teenagers are just looking into the phone the whole time.
Yep. Nobody's talking to
I was
anybody.
down there with Denny this weekend going to Brooklyn, and Denny driving in the city. He drove like he's lived there his whole life. It was incredible. Like
Good.
he just zipped through traffic and everything. Like he did like a 3 point turn to find this like spot. I was like, oh, like I wouldn't have done it where he did, but he squeezed
Yeah,
right in there. He was like
you got
fucking
city driving.
amazing. I couldn't believe it.
Oh
He,
yeah,
he acted like
so
he lived there.
we're way off topic, but Count Ralphus went
Rage of
to
Dead
Armageddon.
Rage of
Foresters. Yeah.
Armageddon. Sorry, I'm brain fading here. With Denny. Denny, it was cool to stop by the store. And Denny had sent a package of t-shirts and merchandise to sell at the show, which they tried to deliver on Tuesday. And here we are, what was it, Friday or whatever it was,
No,
and it
yeah.
still didn't get
Saturday morning.
delivered. And then I get home from work Friday night, and here's his box stuffed in my home mailbox. Like whoever knew. So I called him up, and then the guy stopped over Saturday morning to pick up the merchandise, and they got their merchandise. So.
And they
Nice.
got to see your house, your
Now they got to see
backyard.
the house, and Steve Levin dropped by Sunday afternoon, and what did not sell is that Rock Fantasy now. So
Oh, cool.
he donated the box to me, and which is very nice of him. So we have some shirts. I have to take the picture and put it up tomorrow because I wasn't there for a couple of days, but I got a photo of CD and t-shirts. Anyhow, we're off subject.
Nice. Yeah, so I've seen Mastodon once.
Okay.
I saw them at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City in 2009. They were touring with High on Fire, Converge, and Death Clock, which
Wow.
was actually really cool.
Yeah.
And they were the
Converge,
headline. Who's the headliners? Death
Death
Clock was the
Clock
headline.
was the headliner. Um, Mastodon was the co-headliner, and they did the entire Crack the Sky album,
Wow.
beginning to end, which was brand new at that point. And every song they had animation going along with the album with them. It was fucking awesome. And then at the end of that, they did like a couple of classics, like they did Blood and Thunder, and I think they did Sleeping Giant, and then I think they did March of the Fire Ants, and then they covered Emerald from Thin Lizzy.
Wow.
That was really cool. They were fucking fantastic. They were the best band of the night by far.
They've
What
recorded that too. That song is recorded as like
Yes.
an extra on one of the
Yeah.
albums.
Yeah, that's like an extra track on one of their records. Um, what pissed me off about that show was they made High on Fire start as they opened the door. So
Ah,
people are coming in, and everybody's getting patted down and they want you to leave your lighter on the fucking staircase and all that shit. So like we missed like two High on Fire songs. I get in there
Yeah.
and get to see two tracks from High on Fire. Half the reason I wanted to be there. But anyways,
That
Mastodon.
that could have been it. That could have been in the pet peeves episode that we did.
yeah.
And one that Steve just talked about is
Yep.
waiting an hour on a merch stand. Every time I go to Irving Plaza, I say, let's just get the fucking merch now, because when the show ends, it's everybody in the
Oh
place trying to
yeah.
get into one room, and it's like
Yep.
2 hours, and
I,
it's after
I,
the show. You want to get the fuck out of
when you,
there, and you're
I
just stuck
tell
on
you,
this
yeah.
fucking.
The
Oh
sorry
yeah.
about not putting pet peeves up to today.
That's all good.
I got too much
Right?
going
Yeah.
on, but
It's all good.
merch at shows can be crazy. You could do
I
an
always get it early.
episode this
Or
fall
I
on
go to
merch.
the merch stand if the headliner is playing their big giant hit. For instance, if Metallica is playing Enter Sandman, you go right to the merch
That's
booth
when you
and
go.
nobody's there.
I was at talk about merch lines as we interrupt James. Are going to go way up topic.
It's all good.
I was at the Fillmore in Philadelphia a couple of years ago, Sabaton and Epica. Sabaton had a line for the merch booth that wrapped around inside that venue all the way up to the stage and
Wow.
then back up to the front for merch
Damn.
for Sabaton.
That's crazy.
Mm.
I hope
And
they
you
had
see,
enough shirts.
like,
The fucked up thing is at Irving Plaza, if you're online for, say, the opening band, you have to wait on the same line that's going for the main band. So there's
yeah,
one line going, and once you finally get in the room, you can cut off and go and buy the fucking
Irving,
shirt you want.
like Irving has changed it now. Like, I don't know when the last time you were there, but Irving Plaza used to have the merch up the stairs on the left, and you could just walk up and buy. Now, when you walk into Irving Plaza, it's in a room on the left.
Yeah, it's in
Yeah,
a separate room. If you get it
yeah,
on the way in, it's no problem. If you
no,
wait till after the show,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
fucked.
I
You'll be there
usually
for
get it
over
on
an
the way
hour.
in.
Yeah, but then you get stuck holding it the whole time. But
Right.
It's when you got cargo pants like me and you wrap the fucking
yeah,
t-shirt around the belt and hang
yeah.
it on the side. But yeah,
It's worth it compared to fucking waiting for that long for a
oh
shirt,
yeah,
especially when you just want to get out to your car and stuff.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
the move. Get your shirt
yeah. You
early.
know, and then you also get the chance if you don't buy the merch till after that they're out of your size.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
or sold
Being
out.
a
Or that
big
Just
or
sold
dude.
that
out.
or that tour shirt you wanted to grab is out of your
Yeah,
size or out of stock. It depends on when the tour is too. Many.
That's the thing too. Being a big dude, like 2 and 3X always runs out
Yeah,
immediately. So I grab my shirt almost as soon as I walk in the friggin' door.
yeah.
So yeah, I saw Mastodon that once and they were incredible. What was pretty cool was on the way to that show, Bron Daler, the drummer, was doing a meet and greet at a Sam Ash right up the street from the
Oh,
Hammerstein. So we went there and me and my buddies who were going to the show got to meet Bron Daler, and he was really super cool, man. Um,
yeah, he's awesome.
yeah, I got my Crack the Sky there autographed by Bron. That was pretty cool. So as far as my favorite Mastodon albums, I didn't get into them right away. I remember Leviathan being out and I liked it, but I wasn't completely in love with it. It wasn't till the following album with Blood Mountain that's when I really got into them. I remember buying this because I was in a band in Restraints. I don't know if either of you guys remember In Restraints,
hmm.
but the other guitar player in the band loved Mastodon, and he got this when it was brand new. And I remember listening to it on the way to practice with him once, and I'm like, "Yo, what's this?" He's like, "Oh, it's the new Mastodon. It's so good, I can't stop playing it." And I thought a lot of Brent's vocals on this reminded me of Ozzy. he has had or has had kind of that nasally sort of thing going on that really just reminded me of Ozzy Osbourne. And there was a
Oh,
lot of like really Sabbathy parts in this too, very sludgy and almost doomy. And that's what really caught my ear. And I was like, yo, I gotta get that Blood Mountain album. So that's going to be my number five. I
okay.
really, man, there's so many good things on this. Crystal Skull, Circle of Sisquatch is cool. Um, Pendulous Skin, the last track is fantastic. It's really good, man. This is also where they start getting a little more, dare I say, mainstreamy. A little more polished up and stuff,
It's
less,
less extreme, more
yeah,
polished for sure.
definitely less extreme. But I really dig it. I prefer Mastodon as they go on in their career. And that's not to say that I don't like Remission or Leviathan. I do like those albums quite a bit. But I prefer them as they go on. And I especially like them when Bron Daler starts singing. And he didn't start singing on Mastodon albums until Crack the Sky, which is crazy because the
Mhm.
dude has a fantastic voice. I think
Oh yeah.
personally, he's got the best voice in the band. That's just my opinion. So I'm one of those who likes Mastodon as they go on in their career. So Blood Mountain is going to be my number five. My number four is going to be Once More Around the Sun.
Mm.
Um, Steven talked about this one. It's a fantastic album. It's just so good. And one of my favorite things about this is the music video for the Mother Lode is so goddamn good. It's so funny. It basically starts where it looks like it's like this ancient Egyptian kind of thing going on, and then it literally turns into a twerking contest. It's
Yeah. And
good. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
so you like
Especially
that. And
influence.
I had a whole different thought about that song, and I didn't really like the video. You
Oh, you
like
don't like the video? I like it because
nah, I
it's
was
goofy.
like I was totally into that song for other meanings. I'm like, this isn't anything like I was thinking that the song was in my head.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely lyrically and visual wise doesn't
Yeah.
match up,
It
but
was a
that's kind
weird
of why I
video,
like
yeah.
it. Yeah, like I said, Once More Around the Sun, great title track. Asleep in the Deep, Aunt Lisa, Diamond in the Witch House. There's not a bad moment on this. It's
It's
a
a great
fantastic.
album cover too.
Yes, yes, the album art is fantastic. Number three for me is going to be the newest one. I love
Mm.
Hushed and Grim. I can't believe how few copies of this my store sold when it came out
Mm.
because I loved this from Jump Street, man. It's the day it came out, I got my copy and
Another
loved it
great
right
album
away.
cover.
The album cover is fantastic. There's always new stuff you're finding in it every time you look at it. It's very cool. And I just, for me, for a double album, it goes right by. It doesn't drag. It doesn't feel
Yeah.
like you're listening to this long, epic double album. It's so good. Pain with an Anchor, fantastic.
Uh,
More Than I Can Chew, great song. Skeleton of
uh, the more
Splendor,
I can chew, that's a cool video too.
yes, it is. Skeleton of Splendor is one of my top favorites on this. I love that chorus in there. The Beast is a great kind of Southern Rocky sounding song that Brent sings. I really like that one a lot. Had It All is a great one. Peace and Tranquility. Again, here's another one with no bad tracks. I mean, it just play anything off of it, and I love
Uh,
it. This is really,
I love Sickle and Peace.
yeah. Sickle and Peace is great too. Yeah, it's just fucking good, man. It's just really good, and it's a great double out. It's almost like people are gonna want to crucify me for this, but it's
Uh-oh.
it's like Physical Graffiti. It's a double album with no bad moments on it.
Hmm.
So that's I guess that was three. Number two for me is going to be Emperor of Sand. I really love this one too. Is another one with no bad songs. I get a lot of personally when I listen to this, I get a lot of Alice in Chains vibes out of it. It's
Mm.
almost got grungy, kind of stoner, almost on the edge of doom moments to it, and just great choruses everywhere, man. Show Yourself is so good. Steam Breather is fantastic.
Oh,
Clandestiny is definitely my favorite track off this one. I love the chorus in that, and I love the lyrics to it. And Jaguar God is a great end of album track. So that leaves my number one, which is Crack the Sky.
wow.
This is my top favorite one. It's the one, this came out, I got it day of, and immediately was like, holy shit, why hasn't Braun been singing in this band the entire time? This is the first one where you start to hear him singing, and he's got a fantastic voice. The the songwriting on this is killer. I love Oblivion. I love that tune, the Czar. It kind of has like four different parts to it, but they all melt together good. It doesn't sound like they're mishmashing together four different songs. It just flows really well. And the title track, Crack the Skies, is fantastic. I've never heard anything official from Braun Daler, but I have heard rumor that this album is dedicated and called Crack the Sky because of Braun Daler's daughter that died early in childhood, whose name was Sky.
Oh,
And I believe that that's why this album is called that and is dedicated to her. So fantastic album. Mastodon don't have a bad one, but that's my top five. I know probably people are going to freak out going, dude, where's Leviathan? Where's Remission? I love them. They're great. I just like them a little better as they go on.
mm-hmm.
That's cool though. That you come from a different time getting into them, and that's the tour you've seen, right? Was Crack the Sky. So
I saw Crack the Sky, yeah.
That's the one
It's a
you
great
love,
album.
It totally makes sense.
It was tough making the list because there's no albums I don't like.
Yeah. Yeah, none of them suck.
I mean, I can put
Yeah,
any of these
I
albums
even
on.
who didn't like the vocals on all of them, I can love the drums on all of them, even the mellow parts. He's kind of like a Neil Peart playing, being busy even in the slow parts and
Tell
stuff.
you
He's
what,
fucking
I
awesome.
mean, what's it been 5 years or 5 years? Hush and Grim was that 2020 or 2021?
2021.
So
Yeah. I
almost.
even like the stupid medium rarities thing where it's just like, the dumb bonus cuts and demos and
Yeah,
random
I
live
don't
shit
know if
thrown
I
in
ever.
there.
I've sold it. I don't know if I own. I've heard it. I don't think I own a hard copy of it.
They do a really good version of Orion from Metallica on here.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's
that's good.
fantastic.
I have the one that they put out, the 12, like a 10-inch they put out on Record Store Day a few years ago. I have that at my shop. I have it right by the turntable. It was dedicated to their former like manager that passed
Oh,
away.
the Stairway to Heaven cover.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's very good.
Mm-hmm.
They appeared also on a couple episodes of Game of Thrones. They were like part of the White Walker army.
Were they? That's
That's
right.
right. Yeah.
It's in 2017. Like
The whole band.
Daler, Hinds, and Keller all did it for one episode, and then Brett and one of the other ones. Yeah, then two of them came back for like another one for the final episode of that season as White Walkers. They were like the zombie things, But I like how James was trying to explain, like before, he's like stoner, sludge, this and that. It's like that's the great thing about Mastodon is like, what the fuck are they? They're definitely a progressing band all the time, but they are hard to classify. And I love that about any band is when you can't say exactly what they are, that means they're doing something super original. And
Yes.
like I seen them classified, like when you go on like their Wikipedia page, it comes up as like they're classified as sludge, stoner, or alternative, but they don't say nothing about prog or even like death metal. They definitely have
Right.
death metal moments and stuff.
Oh yeah.
They got so many things that they're a hard band. And I just my last thing to say about oh well, one other thing is that Daler and Kelleher are actually New Yorkers, and they moved down to Atlanta, and they ran into Sanders and Hinds at a High on Fire show, and they end up forming Mastodon from there. But it's kind of weird
Wow.
how it's two New Yorkers moved down there. They run into them, and you were also mentioning how High on Fire was the opening band. So that's years
Yeah.
later. They meet and start because they went to a High on Fire show, and then they got High on Fire opening for them years later, which
Wow.
is really cool. And the last thing is that when it seemed like Hines had just like quit the band, you know, but then later on, a little bit after all of a sudden the news is broken that he's out of the band, he starts doing like interviews, a couple interviews, and it's just sad that it's kind of like the dime bag thing where like, Phil's saying bad shit and they're saying bad shit, and then something tragic happens, and
Mm.
it's like that's how it ends. And I mean, he had only been out of the band for 5 months or whatever, and it's
Yep.
like, but like one of the things he said was, Brent said he was kicked out. He didn't quit, and he said he won't miss playing in a shit band with horrible humans. And now the other guys in Mastodon, their whole statements were like, it's like a marriage, sometimes it ends, but we've had a lot of great years, a lot of great times. Like they did a big positive thing when they broke up. And even now, they're just like, after he passed away, they just have nothing but, they're praising him on their live shows, and they got a big thing tribute to him up there. They're definitely cool how they're going about, this tragic scenario. But it just sucks that Brent was saying that at the end, and it just like
Yeah,
that's what
I
you got to
agree.
watch what you say sometimes, because like these bands, they talk shit about their past members also, and then someone dies, and it's like, well, you couldn't there's no patching that fucking shit up again.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah, it
just
Right.
one
got
last thing I
very
had wanted
ugly
to say.
there. And the next thing you know, you see the headline that he's gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. A couple years from now, they probably would have got back together. Whatever
Who
the
knows?
Oh
problem
yeah.
was, no, whatever the problem was, they just needed some space. But it just sucks how they talk so much shit. Like, how do
It,
you say
it seemed like
a shitty band?
he was well liked. You've heard things about him being like making crazy comments. He was the one that said that Judas Priests were not heavy metal.
Yeah, and then he
Like,
got knocked out by
like,
he
like
got put into like a coma from the guy from another band that
oh,
like
really?
beat him up at an award show. Yeah, that was like big news years ago. Remember, he was at some award show, and I think it was like a guy from like System of a Down or something
Oh,
knocked him out, but his head hit the curb, and he was like in a coma. You
almost
don't remember
died.
that?
Not
Oh yeah, that
really.
was
Shit.
big
Yeah.
news.
Now I'm starting to remember that. I forgot about that.
Seems
Yeah,
like he was.
that
I
was a
can
long
remember
time
like
ago, but
I can remember
he was real
Butch
drunk.
Jones from Sea of Tranquility channel. Not that he does it anymore, but Butch like liked the band, but once that guy said that, he goes, "I can't listen to Mastodon anymore." He pissed off a lot of people by saying that Judas Priest. He said a couple other very
I think
like,
I seen Butch praising him though on his page though
yeah,
once it
maybe now,
happened.
but just saying,
Everybody loves all those riffs that he did. If you're a guitar
yeah,
player, then you loved all those riffs. And one other quick thing I forgot to mention about that tour at the Loft is right when Brent got off stage, he went up to my wife and he went boop on her nose. He's like, I just had to do that. I was looking at you throughout the show or whatever, and I had to like, I don't know if he was like kind of hitting on my wife, but he was just like, he just went boop. It was like a friendly little goofy thing he did, but he was like just taking his guitar off, and he had to come down and like do that. But it's pretty cool. And those guys hung out for a while, drinking with everybody, and
nice,
you could have got pictures with everybody and stuff. But
mm,
yep,
good
that's it.
memories.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Wow,
Yeah, and the High on Fire connection never really ended. Like they stayed good friends. Brent plays on at least one of the songs on the Matt Pike solo album, that Pike versus the Automaton that came out a couple years ago.
But all those bands that started off on Relapse, when Relapse Relapse started off as like more like incantation and death metal stuff like that, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden they started doing the Dillinger Escape Plan and Converge and like that, more like this like new era of like extreme music, and all the
Yes.
bands were different. Neurosis and all that, they were all connected.
Yes.
High on Fire, they all kind of were original. None of them like sounded like the other one really, but they kind of got
For
lumped
sure.
together as like this new sludge stoner thing. Like they don't know how to even now. They all those bands are great because they're so fucking hard to categorize. Like High on Fire, people call them stoner, but it's like
Yeah.
the drums are blasting the whole time. You know,
Oh
they're
yeah.
like what's they're like super fast thrashing. You know, so it's hard to call it stoner. But I get it why the connection of stoner, but
Hard to
it's a whole
categorize
the
some bands
definition.
for sure.
Yeah. Yep, that's
Yeah.
that's the best is when you can't because that means they're doing something original. And Mastodon's definitely one of those
Mastodon
bands.
was one of those bands, and
That's right.
and there's it, we're really due new music from Mastodon.
Yes, we are.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
I mean, they did that like
2021.
they did that.
2021 was the last
Yeah,
one.
they did that. They did that one song with like Lamb of God that they put out last year. I think that was last year, right?
Yeah, I last year or the year before. Yeah, that's right. There
When
was
they
like a
did that
collaboration
song.
song.
Well, I look forward to hearing the new material when it comes out and seeing them. But
Same.
I guess we put a wrap on this one, which is fine. I'm exhausted anyhow and gotta get up early in the morning. So was
Absolutely.
good to have James and Count Ralphus and I and us having the three of us, which I think it's good sometimes. I used to like when Pardo's show had like four of us some nights. It was you got better conversation and it was a shorter episode and
Yeah, you get to say a little bit more, but
yeah, you get to
it's just
say
good
it.
that we just got to praise, Brent Hinds and it's do a
You
little
don't have to
tribute to him
yeah,
since we don't really talk about the band, and it's good to do get a tribute. And if we only got a few of us, and it's great, we just got it done.
you
You
didn't
know,
Yeah.
have to wait 90 minutes to talk for the first time.
yeah.
That's what drives me crazy sometimes. Last time I did Pete's show, I was like so into doing it. I forget what the topic was. I think it was something to do with Ozzy or Black Sabbath. But by the time they got to me, I was kind of lulled off into okay, I'll get it over with. Sometimes when you go last, it's never fun. So
I think you joined late though. You joined late though that time. That's
oh
why you were
no,
last.
no, I think I was actually there early that time. I'm like, well, I
Uh,
should have joined late, maybe. But it's the viewers that are watching, please take a minute to hit that subscribe button, which I should say in the beginning, and comment on
Your five favorite Mastodon
on
albums.
your five on your five favorite Mastodon album, and when did you guys see Mastodon if you have, and what did you think of the Back to the Beginning performance from Mastodon? There's a couple questions for you in the comments, so please comment away. And I don't know if I'll be back next Wednesday, but we'll come back and have something for next week on the Rock Fantasy Files YouTube channel. And James has been doing the ranking files, keeping the channel going. Hopefully,
Doing a Testament one tomorrow night.
oh wow, that'd be a good one. Cool. I'll be at work tomorrow. I got to work 10 hours, so I need to go get some rest. So I'll see you next time on the Rock Fantasy YouTube channel.